Was told you're uninvited from the family reunion. We don't want you here. By my sister. I wrote back, great, then I'm taking my barbecue and the drinks with me, and the next morning. It was the first weekend of summer, and I was already marinating ribs for the family reunion when my phone buzzed. It was a text from my sister Julia. I glanced down, expecting one of her typical last-minute questions about drinks or desserts, but what I read made me stop cold. You're uninvited from the family reunion. We don't want you here. That was it, no explanation, just a flat, cold dismissal. I stared at the words, reading them over and over as if they might change. They didn't. For years, I had been the heart of our family reunions, the guy who set up the barbecue pit, kept the drinks flowing, and made sure everyone was laughing no matter how tense things might get. I wasn't the golden child or the one with a fancy job, but I was the glue, the one who remembered Uncle Ted's favorite whiskey and Anne-Marie's allergy to shellfish. I was the one who turned every reunion into a real family event. But this time, Julia had made it clear I wasn't welcome. My hands, still sticky with marinade, clenched into fists. I could feel the weight of all those years of quiet sacrifices, the weekends spent prepping food, the hours hauling coolers, the money spent on cases of beer and trays of brisket, crashing down on me. And now, with one smug, dismissive text, she had uninvited me. I stood there staring at my phone, listening to the soft buzz of the refrigerator and the faint sound of kids playing down the street. A slow, measured breath filled my lungs, and I let it out through my nose. My thumb hovered over the keyboard, then I typed back, great, then I'm taking my barbecue and the drinks with me. I hit send, simple, direct, a hint of bite. But as soon as the message sent, I felt something shift in me, a simmering determination that this wasn't going to be the end of the story. No, Julia wasn't going to have the last word, not this time. I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing on the nightstand, vibrating against the wood like a trapped wasp. Blurry-eyed, I reached for it, expecting maybe a reply from Julia, something sarcastic or smug. But what I found made me sit up straight. 15 missed calls, 7 voicemails, a flood of text messages, and none from Julia. The missed calls were from my cousin Peter and Marie, even Uncle Ted. The texts were panicked and confused. Hey, are you serious about not coming? Julia just told everyone you canceled. Wait, what's going on? You always bring the food, man. We can't do this without you. Call me, please. As I scrolled through the messages, the realization dawned like a slow sunrise. They didn't know Julia had blindsided me with that message, but she hadn't told the others. They were waking up to the shocking news that the guy who handled the food, the drinks, the entire vibe of the reunion, me, wasn't coming. I let out a slow chuckle, shaking my head as I read through the increasingly desperate messages. Part of me felt a flicker of satisfaction. Julia had thought she could cut me out quietly, but it was backfiring spectacularly. I played one of the voicemails, and Peter's voice, usually laid back and easygoing, cracked with worry. Hey man, listen. Julia said you bailed, but this whole thing's going to fall apart. You're the one who handles the food, the drinks. You know how everyone counts on you. Please call me. We can fix this. I rubbed my face, feeling a mixture of vindication and deep hurt. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Family reunions had always been my thing, my chance to make everyone feel welcome, to keep the peace, to create memories. But now I was the villain in Julia's story. I leaned back on the bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the hum of the air conditioner. My phone buzzed again, another text from Peter. Julia's freaking out. There's no plan for food. Everyone's blaming her. What should we do? A slow grin spread across my face. I knew exactly what I was going to do. For a few minutes, I just sat there, phone still in my hand, rereading the messages. Each new buzz felt like another vote of confidence from family members who had no idea what Julia had pulled, and every please call me or we can't do this without you fed a growing, delicious sense of power. I could have called Peter back. I could have smoothed things over, reassured everyone, and tried to salvage the reunion. But the more I thought about it, the more a new plan took shape, one that made my heart race a little. If Julia wanted to cut me out, let her. But I wasn't going to be the sad, excluded brother sitting at home feeling sorry for myself. No, I was going to take my barbecue, my drinks, my know-how, and throw a party of my own. I got up, grabbed my phone, and texted Peter back, sorry, man. Julia said I was uninvited. I can't go where I'm not wanted. But maybe you and a few others can swing by my place. I've got everything we need for a real cookout. Almost immediately, the reply came through, seriously? I'm in. This reunion's a mess anyway. Let me know what you need. One by one, the messages started rolling in, cousin after cousin, uncle after aunt. People who didn't want to sit through an awkward, Julia-run disaster were ready to jump ship and come to my place. Even a few neighbors texted back when I put out feelers, sure, let us know what to bring. By the time I got to the kitchen to check on the marinating ribs, I was grinning from ear to ear. I wasn't just salvaging my weekend, I was flipping the whole situation on its head. This was no longer about revenge, this was about reclaiming what was mine, the role of the heart of the family, the one who brought people together, not just for the food or the drinks, but because they knew with me, they'd have a good time. Julia could have her awkward, dry reunion, I'd be throwing the real party. I threw myself into preparation like a man on a mission. My backyard, which had been a quiet retreat for years, suddenly transformed into a makeshift festival ground. I set up the big smoker I usually reserve for family reunions, hauling out the marinated ribs and brisket. The scent of the spices and the promise of slow-cooked perfection filled the air, and I could already imagine the reactions of everyone who'd show up. The cooler was next, stocked with everything from classic American beers to homemade lemonade for the kids. I even texted a few of my buddies from the neighborhood, guys I'd cooked for before at smaller get-togethers. They were more than happy to pitch in, bringing folding chairs, bags of ice, and extra drinks. While I worked, my phone buzzed constantly. The texts were getting more frantic, but now they weren't just from family. Even a few neighbors who had heard rumors of the split reunion started chiming in. Hey, heard you're throwing a barbecue. Mind if we swing by? What time should we come? Should we bring sides? I smiled, shaking my head. It was starting to feel like Julia's little power play was turning into my best party of the year.